We've got a couple of people in here that are experts as well in their field to just tell us a little bit more about what we can do for your school. But before we get to them, I'd like to spend a little bit of time just introducing some of us. Me, for example, my name's Keith Smith. I'm the head of sales at D6, and I'll be your host for this morning. And sitting with me is Renelle, and she's going to be taking us through the standalone product a little bit later. I'd like to tell you a little bit about D6 and where we came from and what it is that we do. D6 started life in the early 2000s, where we needed a system to work in schools. And it was built in a school for a school. And from there on, we've branched out. We've got 2,800 odd schools using our communication platforms. And almost 800 schools using our school administration platform. Both of those we'll be talking about today. So this is definitely not something we came up with a couple of days ago. It's well beyond the test phase, and it's working in schools. So that's D6, and I'm sure you don't want to listen to me drone on about D6 all day. You'd much rather hear from the pretty lady next to me. So Renelle,
Hi, Keith.
you're here to talk about the standalone product.
Yes. So the standalone product is basically our communication platform that allows schools to communicate with their parents.
Okay, so like the school communicator.
Not like the school communicator. So yes, our school communicator is that little blue icon that you will find on the App Store or the Play Store, sorry. But we have upgraded that version, and now we have D6 Connect. That you will find the little black icon. That's our little upgraded version that's copy compliant.
Okay, so if I'm a school that has a school communicator, how do I get the upgraded one?
So you can contact us. We'll come through to you. We'll show you a little bit about the D6 Connect, how it will work for you, and then we'll take you through the upgrade process.
Okay, that's fantastic. And obviously, you can contact us at sales@d6.co.za at any time. But tell us more about the Connect app that you're here to discuss.
So like I mentioned, the Connect app allows you to communicate with your parents at the school. Now with the pandemic and in KZN with the riots recently, it has become an absolute necessity for the school to be able to communicate with their parents and make sure that the correct information goes out. So what Connect does, it allows you to send any type of alerts. You can send any newsletters if you'd like, and you can send homework to the school, to your parents, sorry.
You said alert. So, I mean, in these times, as you discussed, there's been some pandemic and some other events. So school could send out an alert to its parents to say there's something going wrong.
Yes, absolutely. So the alert will pop up as red as a push notification on your phone, and it will alert you as to what's going on into the school. So let's say there's a COVID case at the school, or there's no water at the school and kids need to be picked up immediately. Those are the kinds of things that you'll send out as alerts.
Okay, that's pretty cool. What differentiates Connect from School Communicator? What makes it better?
So Connect, you can send out child-specific information, and it is copy compliant. In Communicator, that's not necessarily the case. You can send out a communication, and it can be viewed by anyone in your community, and not necessarily just the school population as a whole.
Why can't I just use WhatsApp?
WhatsApp is not copy compliant.
Is it because I can see the other people's names and numbers?
100%. So when you have a WhatsApp group, you are able to see all the parents' contact details on the WhatsApp groups. Now, some parents can use those contact numbers for malicious intent, and that's something as a school you would like to avoid at all costs.
Okay, so you said the school can send out messages. Can all the teachers, everybody just send whatever messages they want?
So on our Connect app, you will have to allocate different rights to your educators. Now, every educator can send out information, but only to the particular channels or WhatsApp groups that they are assigned to. So not everyone will have access to send out any type of information to everyone.
Okay, that's very, very cool. I read somewhere as well that the parent can access things like financial details and school results.
Yes, so on the Connect app, you can access that information provided that it also integrates with our school management system. So now with our communication standalone, you'll be able to access financial information such as projects, which if you have service day or photographs or anything like that at school, your parents can pay on the app. But in terms of your full financial statement,
Wow.
that will integrate with our financial module, which Don will explain to you a little bit later.
Okay, I'm already sensing this is a big difference from the school communicator. In the school
Absolutely.
communicator, it's standing by itself. It integrates with nothing. But Connect has the ability to integrate with all other facets of the school automatically.
Yes, it has the ability to integrate with our finance module and with the curriculum module.
That is very, very cool. Can parents communicate back to the school? Is it two-way communication?
It will depend on the school and how they would like to set it up. So sometimes parents can send through general inquiries to the school. It's up to the school to decide whether they would like that turned on or off. I know some schools prefer for the parents to phone in rather sending it through general inquiries. It's up to the school.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, having worked with schools for a long time, I know they love their parents and they just want to give them as many channels as possible to communicate. Not really. So it's good that they can turn it off, but it is an option for those schools that want to keep it on.
Absolutely, yes.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much, Ronelle, for telling us a bit more about standalone. I really appreciate your time. As I mentioned earlier, you're more than welcome to pop any questions that you have into the question box there next to the Showtime video, or send us an email at sales@d6.co.za, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. As you can see, we've got the next pretty lady coming to chat to us today, and she's here to talk to us about the administration system. Now, Ronelle kind of touched on the admin system and it needs to integrate with things. And I'm guessing that's what you're going to talk to us today, Robin.
Yes, it is. So D6 really has just taken things to the next level. Everyone knows us for communication, but we now have a fully integrated school management system. And the administration side of things is basically your school database. And that's your parent, your teachers, and your learner information. And the great thing about this is that it exports into SA SAMS quite beautifully. And being in KZN, SA SAMS is a very important facet. And having that export is one of our things that we pride ourselves on.
So it can interact with SA SAMS. So I'm trying to understand this because a lot of schools say that they can only use SA SAMS. They're not allowed to use anything else. But now you're kind of telling me if they use our system, it still works with SA SAMS.
Yes, it does. So basically what you would do is you would use D6 and you would capture all your information in D6. And the nice thing is that it's a cloud-based system, so you can work anywhere so long as you've got an internet connection. And literally, once you've done all your work, you can then do an export. It will put it into a Microsoft Access file, and you can then import it into SA SAMS. So when the department says you have to use SA SAMS, yes, you do, but how you get your information into SA SAMS is up to you.
So the department's okay with it if you use D6 Plus?
Yes.
Okay, tell us a bit more about admin. What else can you do?
So admin really it's one of my favorite modules within the D6 Plus system. And that's purely because of the kind of information that parents can get relayed back to them. And the learner overview specifically really excites me. So if you have a walk-in parent, and schools often have this, you have access to a little tab called Learner Overview. And in that, you will have access to the learner's information, their medical aid details, if they have any allergies, any notes about the learner. So is there anything going on at home? Have they got any learning difficulties? You can see the absenteeism, and it's nice because you're able to sort of pick up any trends if there are, because it gives you a breakdown of that. And you have access in the learner overview tab to see what's been going on with their results and their marks and that kind of a thing as well. And that would be if you have the curriculum module linked to the admin.
Okay, so that's all in one place. So
yeah.
Little Johnny's been naughty and him and his mom's in the office, so I don't have to get files from multiple people.
No,
I just log on to, and it's all there.
Yeah. And the great thing is, so specifically if you've got quite a big school, principals don't always necessarily know who the child is. You can quickly just punch in the first 3 letters of the child's surname. The profile will pick up, and you can even have a picture of the child. So you'll really know what's going on.
Okay, so that's very handy for principals that get cornered by angry moms.
Definitely.
Fantastic. Now, that's quite a lot of very specific details about a child. Can the whole school see that?
It's up to you what you want your staff to see. So we have got different levels of access within the system, and obviously not everyone needs to see what's going on. So we've done this to make sure that we are fully POPI compliant and to make sure that sensitive information isn't shared with people that don't need it. So if I'm an administrator, I don't need to see the curriculum, so those tabs will be unavailable for me when you're setting it up. You can have access to view and change, or no access at all. It's completely up to you how you want to set up your system as a school.
Okay, that's fascinating. Is there anything else that admin can do?
Admin also handles the code of conduct. As a parent, I really love this because if a code of conduct violation or recognition, it's not all the bad, it's the good too, is captured, the parent will get a push notification to their phone to say, this is what's happened. And what that does is it puts the parent in the driving seat again. So they know what's going on with their children, and there's no surprise. Your child is being suspended. You as a parent know what's happening.
Okay, hold on. Oh. You're telling me that the children in schools that use D6 Plus can't get away with bunking?
No.
That makes me very happy we didn't have D6 Plus when I was at school.
Me too.
Okay, so the parents automatically notified us, or a system can be set up so that they get the notification when there's a demerit.
Yes, and it does the same for absenteeism.
What?
Yes. So when you're doing your absenteeisms in the morning, you will put little Joshua Briggs as absent, and as his mom, I'll get a push notification to say that he's absent. Now, if he's bunking, I'll be able to do something about it. However, if there has been an incident and Josh is in a lift club or he walks to school, I am then notified early and I can do something about it. Or if he's sitting at home, I can then just send an absentee notification and I can take a picture of the sick notes and send it through. And the school can accept the absenteeism and it will load into the admin system. And then again, you can just export those to SASACs.
So as a parent, I have a sick note, I can notify the school with a sick note, taking a picture of it on my phone, using the app, sending it to the school, and the school knows exactly what's going on.
100%.
So it integrates completely, like Renelle said earlier.
Yeah.
That is amazing. I just want to quickly pop back to the code of conduct for a second there.
Sure.
This code of conduct, I've got a couple of special rules. In my school, kids split a lot. Can I assign points to be demerited?
Definitely. So your code of conduct, we've set it up so that you can assign whatever violations you need per little infringements. So it's got the templates as you need them. So it's got a few kind of basic ones, but you can go in and you can say, my child is spitting like a cobra, or whatever it might be, or little Johnny smoking behind the tennis courts. You've got that facility as well. And what's nice that's also available is that we've got whereabouts in admin. Now, whereabouts is a really dynamic feature to have in the sense that you'll be able to see where learners are. So if you've done your absenteeism and a learner then arrives at school, you can change to say that they were late. You can also mark a learner as leaving early and then returning to school if they've got a dentist appointment or something along those lines. What we have also found within the Muslim communities, they really love whereabouts because the boys leave to go to mosque and then they come back, but they need to know that they've left. So that's where whereabouts comes in.
That is amazing. And I'm assuming, again, looking at roles, you can assign access to the whereabouts for specific teachers. So if you're in a classroom and you're wondering where some of them are, you can log in and you can see, for example, they've left for mosque or something.
Absolutely.
So everybody's informed every step of the way, and anybody that has rights can go in and have a look and get the information they need.
Absolutely, that's correct.
And just the cherry on the top is you can import all this into SSAs.
Yes.
It's so cool. Anything else? It feels a bit like a very mark ad, But wait, there's more.
So one of the great other features is that with your staff, you can also capture your staff leave. So the staff leave is within there, all the information about staff. So how long they've been teaching, how comfortable they're teaching, where did they study, are they registered with SACE, which is very important. That's where you will give them rights and access to the system as well. And you can then link them and register them to their classrooms. We have a timetabler, which is an add-on, which then will link everyone to their classrooms. Your learners can get a learner-specific timetable if you get our timetabler. And another thing that I forgot to mention was that with the timetabler, you will get an educator timetabler, a register class timetable, and that learner-specific one. So there's quite a lot that it covers as well.
And this timetable, is it part of the admin system?
It's not part of the admin system. It's an add-on that you can get from D6.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's an annual fee because we feel that there's no need to pay monthly for something that you're going to set up and just use.
And this timetable works with the rest of the environment as well.
Absolutely.
Sounds like a core strength of the product. Everything works together.
Yes. Being fully integrated really is a dream. And what's nice about that is once a learner and a family is loaded in the admin system, they are then in curriculum and they are then in the finance system. So you don't have a case of getting loaded into SA SAMS and then maybe getting loaded into a separate finance system and someone maybe getting a free ride of school fees because there's been a file that's gone missing.
Yeah. Well, I know many schools that use 4 or 5 systems,
Yeah.
and some even more than that, and the systems don't interact with each other.
Exactly.
So inevitably, there's going to be duplication of effort, there's going to be human mistakes being made, and people are going to slip through the cracks. And we found that in a lot of schools.
Yeah.
There's a lot of children that slide through school and never receive a bill for it.
Yeah. And
So-
parents aren't going to say, oh, I didn't get a school fee statement. Where is it?
No, I don't think. No, not all parents.
No.
Definitely not. Well, thank you so much, Robin. I appreciate the brief overview of admin. I know that if we really go into the system, we'll probably still be here by supper
yes.
time. And I'm already hungry. Lunch needs to be served soon. So I don't think I've got the energy to go till supper time. But thank you so much for your time.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you, Keith.
That was really cool. Thank you. Okay, so next up, we've now spoken about standalone and what standalone can do in terms of communication. And Robin told us a little bit about admin and how it integrates and what we can do with admin. And remember, again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask those questions. We've got experts standing by to answer those questions, or pop us a mail at sales@d6.co.za. Next up, coming to us from Pretoria, is Rian. And Rian is our product owner for admin and curriculum. And he's here to talk to us about curriculum. How are you doing, Rian?
I'm doing great. And you, Keith?
I'm doing fine, thank you. So, Rian, tell us a little bit about curriculum.
Well, let's start with the admin system that Robin was just talking about. That serves as the base for the entire system and for all the other modules. The curriculum module builds on top of that, and all of the information captured in the admin system is available to the curriculum system. So there's no need to recapture anything. You just start with the learners that are already captured in the system, in the classes, and start allocating subject choices to them. From there, you can allocate learners to subject groups, capture marks, capture comments, generate report cards, lists, statistics, promotion decisions, progression schedules, basically everything that you need to do a curriculum effectively.
Okay, when we talk about curriculum, there's always something that schools tell us, and it's that they have to use SA SAMS. And I know Robin's touched on this previously, but with you being the expert, put my mind at ease that SA SAMS is not going to be a problem.
It's not a problem. We've been developing an SA SAMS exporter for about a decade now. It's actually based on functionality that that started as early as 2008. So we've spent a long time perfecting our ability to export our data into SA SAMS, and it works very well. We regularly get very high scores on the Valus Tractor and Triple D dashboards, and we generally don't have any issues with submissions during the year. We've also got a dedicated compliance department which focuses on interaction with the department, and which makes sure that that our exports are up to date, that it complies with everything the department requires, and that we continue to push the export abilities as SA SAMS changes. So we also update our system to make sure that we remain up to date.
Rihanna, I'm going to pause on SASAMs for a bit because I know you're in KZN. There's quite a bit of pressure to use SASAMs. Is it okay for a school to use D6 Plus and extract that data into SASAMs? Will they get into any trouble whatsoever?
None of our existing schools have gotten into any trouble. As far as I know, according to the Schools Act, it's completely within a school's rights to choose what information system they use. And our ability to produce whatever databases the department needs for submissions, make sure that we remain compliant with with all the legal aspects. That's a very, very important point for us. In order for us to remain viable, we absolutely have to make sure that we comply with all legal requirements. So as the game changes, we are staying up to date, and we make sure that we do everything that the department needs.
So let's say the department releases a patch today. Will D6 Plus comply with the requirements of that patch?
Of course. As soon as we get those patches, and we sometimes get them slightly earlier, we start working on it to investigate what exactly the changes are, import those changes into our curriculum, make the necessary changes to our system if there are programmatic changes that are required, and we'll do whatever it takes to make sure that we comply with requirements.
Okay, this might be a stupid question asking a seasoned IT pro like yourself, but the gray hairs is not because of stress. All these fancy IT terms I don't always get. So how does the school get the upgraded D6 patch that now complies with SSMs? How would they get that? Would we need to send it to them on a disk or something?
Because we are an online system, we can roll out those changes from our side. So schools don't need to do anything. We do all the work and just make it available as soon as it is possible. And yes, the system just gets upgraded from the school's point of view.
So the school won't even know that they'll be compliant with the new SSM's patch, and they just do what they do.
They'll know. We do communicate these changes to our schools. We make sure to keep everyone informed with the process and any new changes that we release.
Okay, that's amazing. I feel a lot more at ease with the whole SASAM's debacle. But going back to curriculum, what are the main benefits really for using the curriculum module in these times?
Well, recording and reporting learner performance is a massive job. It's not something that you can effectively do without a quality system. Things like learners leaving during the year means they have to be removed, from the progression schedules at the end of the year. It absolutely needs to be integrated into one system so that everything stays up to date. Now, when you've got a quality system like D6 Plus, it will streamline the entire process from capturing subject choices right through entering marks, doing all the calculations that are required, and finally producing all the reports and statistics that a school requires. And also because we are so concerned with departmental compliance, all of that is also paid attention to as well. So we do know that errors sometimes come through in SASAMs. We don't rely only on SASAMs. We also follow circulars and make sure that our system provides the most correct information that is possible. Another advantage is that we don't only support CAPS. Of course, we do support CAPS as our primary, but we've got IEB and Cambridge schools. We've got a lot of LSEN schools and even foreign schools. We've got Sakai schools. We've got schools in Kenya and Nigeria. And our system is adaptable to all these different curricula that are required. So all of that flexibility is available to any school that uses our system. That means you are not stuck with what the department gives you. If you need to adjust or need to change something that they possibly didn't do correctly, It definitely is possible in our system, to adapt to your requirements. We also offer features like effort ratings, which allows the school to record how much effort a learner put into a subject. That's not something that's often used in South Africa, but it is available and definitely used by some of our foreign schools. And all of that functionality, again, is available in the curriculum for anyone to use. We also have very strong communication abilities. So report cards can be emailed, for example. You don't have to print everything and hand out paper or use the postal system. We've got the ability to email as well as communicate marks via the D6 Connect app. And we also have strong SMS capabilities, which is very effective at reaching parents. So things like absenteeism notices can be SMS, discipline notices, schedules and statistics can be exported to Excel. So there's a lot of technological abilities that just makes life easier for our users.
That is amazing, Rian. And it gives a lot of peace of mind knowing that it's being used by hundreds of schools in South Africa and some of them abroad as well. It's been around for almost 2 decades, so it's not something that won't work for a school. If there's a request or a certain flexibility a school wants, we've probably heard it before.
Definitely. I've been working on school administration systems for 24 years now, so I'm well familiar with most of the requests, but there's always something new every day.
Yeah, I'm sure. Now, talking about flexibility, I know that report cards is quite a point of pride for a lot of schools. Is it possible for the curriculum module to produce a report card the way we want it?
Yes. We've got a report template system with which schools can set up any number of templates and adjust the template according to their requirements. It's not completely free form, but there's a lot of flexibility in the adjustment of the templates. Schools can do things like incorporate watermarks, signatures on the reports. They can choose whether to print just one term's marks or the whole year, for example. They can choose print only on subject level or task level or assessment level. We've got the ability to circle failing marks, automatic calculation of promotion requirements and promotion decisions. The system has the ability to do moderation. We've got concessions for learners with barriers or immigrants. Just about anything you can imagine for a report card can be incorporated into our templates.
So it does have some flexibility. So schools will probably get the report card they're used to. Okay, another thing that I often hear from schools about curriculum and subjects is we want to determine who's the most improved math student or something like that. Have a prize giving day. Can this curriculum module help with that?
Definitely. We've got top achievers, which allows schools to look at the top learners per subject or overall or best improvement. And we've also got a certificate system which schools can use to set up their criteria for achievements. We've got both automatic allocation of achievements as well as manual allocation. So schools get the benefit of automatic functionality, but they still have control. And they can, like for the reports, we've got a templating system for certificates where you can set up exactly what it will look like. And it integrates with the mark system. So once your marks are captured, then your certificates are basically done as well. And you just need to generate them.
Sure. So you push a button and it gives you. That is amazing, because I know schools sit with boxes of papers just trying to find the information they want over days and days, but now you just push a button.
Speaking of boxes of paper, we are just about to release a new functionality which has been requested by a lot of our users, the ability to upload documents into our system. So within the next few days, our clients will be able to upload copies of certificates, copies of IDs, proof of residence, any such documents into our system, and it's hosted online, which will then also do a lot to eliminate paper in schools and eliminate those old filing cabinets.
It's starting to sound like the school will save so much money on printing costs that the system could effectively almost be free for them.
That's the idea. We want to make schools as effective as possible, and we want to make it as cheap as possible to administrate the school.
I love that. Deep in our DNA is to make sure that schools are more effective. But again, I just want to touch on another point that might arise in questions as well. Robin touched on it a little bit earlier, and it's about roles. So something that occurred to me, you said you could enter marks onto the system, but say I have a child in the same school. Can I go and edit their marks if they're in another grade or in another class?
No, we've got marks capturing rights, which allows the system administrator to set up who has access to which marks. So each educator can be allocated specific subject groups and specific subjects that they are allowed to view or capture marks for. So if the administrator decides that you shouldn't even see your own child's marks in the system, then that's completely possible. However, I know some schools prefer to capture marks centrally so that one or two people do all the marks capturing, and that can be all set up as well, so that only a few people have the rights to do all the marks and no one else captures marks.
Again, that's quite amazing flexibility. Thank you for telling us about the curriculum module, but you're not done yet. I've got one last question. You know, selling a school or giving a school a product like this is great, but once they have it, do we just run away, or is there a way that they can get help if they need it?
Help is crucial. That's another thing that distinguishes us from something like SA SAMS. We provide personal support, and it is absolutely crucial for schools to be able to get support with the system. It's one of my personal points of pride that we assist schools as well as possible. We've got telephonic support and email support, and we place a very high priority on the quality of support. That's absolutely something that distinguishes us, and that we place a lot of importance on.
I happen to know as well that the developers of the system, people like you, actually sit on the floor with the support team. The people that actually made this thing are there as well, so that no matter what the school asks, they're there to fix it.
We used to physically have a developer in the support office before lockdown, but since lockdown and working remotely, we're not doing that anymore. But we've got dedicated communication channels between the development team and the support team, and they ask us questions throughout the day to make sure that when they need information about the system or when there's a problem, we react as quickly as possible.
That is amazing. Thank you, Riaan. Thank you for spending the time to tell us about curriculum and a little bit of admin as well as support. Really appreciate your time, and thank you for building great products for us.
My pleasure. Thank you, Keith.
Thank you, Riaan. Okay, so again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask those questions. We've got experts standing by to answer the questions for you, or pop us an email at sales@d6.co.za. Next on is probably a legend when it comes to D6 Plus, the man that started it all. He's here to tell us about the finance module. So welcome, Don, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Keith.
Don, the show is yours. I'm going to get some popcorn. I always love the finance section, so the floor is yours. Tell us more about finance.
Okay, no, thanks very much. I think for the audience, the actual reason why D6 Plus actually exists is because we couldn't find a product where the admin and financial systems actually integrated well with each other, and it was always 2 or 3 different systems. So when I got involved with schools, we tried 3 or 4 different systems before we actually identified the gap in the market. And then back in 2006 we started with our first school. So yeah, it's been a journey. So the finance module is very close to my heart. Obviously, I'm a finance guy and I want the books to balance. So I think there's a couple of things that I could share. A normal financial presentation would take about 4 to 8 hours, but since you've only given me 15 minutes, I think we just need to highlight a couple of things. So I'm going to share my screen quickly. And I think what's important is to say that you can see my screen there, Keith.
Yes, there, I can see it now.
All right. So I think the majority of schools use products similar. I'm calling it Pastel, but it can be QuickBooks or any of these products. A lot of schools that we find are using Pastel. So I just want to start off with a small comparison of what does Pastel give you. And there's a reason why Pastel is working in schools, because it earned its reputation for auditors, etc. And for us, that's very close to, that's what we want to do. We want to have an auditable, reliable system. So the account managers can share these with the schools or with the attendees, but it's just for a matter of comparison. It's not to say that we are better. It is just to say whatever Pastel is doing, D6 Plus is doing as well. Plus, we are doing a lot more on each of these different modules. So if you look, for example, on debtors, we are doing the basics, but we're doing a lot of other stuff. We've got unique functionality like a handover functionality that will save you a lot of time. That basically creates a separate general ledger control account with your handover debtors, which you can manage then per collector. So you can have multiple collectors, and you can then compare your different debt collectors with each other based on the reporting that we've got in the system. In terms of cash books, we're doing what Pastel is doing, plus we're doing a lot more. We've got integration with all the South African banks. You never have to capture a bank statement again. You don't need to worry that you're going to miss a transaction or capture the same transaction twice. So those are the things that we're doing to make a difference. We've got automatic receipting and handling of transactions on our debit order system. So these are just a couple of things that, is going to make your life easier. But for the purposes of today, I'm a very practical person, so I'm going to actually log into the system and show the attendees what the system actually looks like. And we're going to quickly just focus on some of the project functionality. How does a parent actually pay for a project? Ronel and Robin referred to that. We're going to quickly show you that. Then I just quickly want to show you how our year-end process looks and what it works like. And then I'm going to quickly show you how to do receipting through D6 Connect and just show you one key thing. I'm going to actually highlight this little line there, because this is the reason why the system exists, is to make sure that every single learner in the school is actually built properly or handled financially correctly. So let's start off quickly by creating a project. So this is our finance module. There you can see the general ledger, cash book, debtors, creditors, and our budget functionality. And for purposes of this, we're just going to create a project quickly today. And we're going to create a new project. It's automatically giving it a new number, and we can call it the KZN demo project. You're going to give it a person that's looking after the project. This is a list of all the educators that is loaded in the administration system. You're going to select your project control account on the balance sheet. And here you will typically select something like fundraising income. For example, this is an income statement account. Select the begin and end date. And does the project have a specific amount? We can say yes. And let's say this project, I don't know what projects in KZN is like, but let's say 250 Rand project. Then we've got the option to say, do we want to link specific learners to the project? If we say yes, you can link it in one of three ways. You can either link it per learner, per register class or grade. Obviously, if you select register class, there's the register classes. You select grade, there's the grades, etc., etc. Also got an integration here with the, for those of you who are familiar with the school communicator on channels, you can actually select learners based on a channel. So everybody that's in the school choir, so if you've set up the communication channel correctly, then all the list of learners will be listed here. But of course, we only have 11 minutes left, so I need to be quick. So we're going to go to grade, and I've got a learner in grade 11. Let's just make it interesting. And like, let's say everybody in the high school must attend this project. Now, what I quickly want to show you on the other side is, just reload the screen quickly. Okay, there's my D6 Connect app. I'm sure you're all quite familiar with this. Let me just hide this little there. And what I'm going to show you guys now is that once the project is created, so there are basically, there's options here. Do you want to allow cashless payments via the D6 Connect app? If we say yes, it's going to post it so that the parent can pay it. You want to show it as a newsfeed item and send a push notification. So let's just say add, and we've basically just created a project 404 for the KZN demo project. Now the first question in a school, once this is done, is what is the budget for this project? How much money, who has paid, who hasn't paid. But we've got functionality inside the system. If you go to your projects, you will see there's the KZN demo project. And if we look at who has paid, it's going to give me a list of names of learners with the amount that they should each pay. So immediately, without me having to set up a spreadsheet or nothing, the system automatically used the administration data to compile this list of learners that is supposed to pay, and we can see that we've got a 12,250 Rand budget. Let me just open my screen a little bit more, and then you can see that. Now, my learner's name is Kari Vermaak, so there you can see line 46, 250 Rand. But the experience that the parent will get is basically this. So in the D6 Connect app, basically now pops up what we call a payment card. I also received a push notification. If I click on that, it will take me directly to the screen. So from a parent's perspective, all they do is they literally just click on that little item and say, how much do we want to pay? So I'm just going to quickly show you. Let's say I want to pay 200 Rand onto this item, and I just say proceed to pay. So this is the parent. There we integrate with our Ticket Wallet, which is our partner. I've got 11,500. That's obviously play money. That's why I've got a lot of money. And I want to pay 200 Rand. So this is the experience from the parent side. And literally the parent click on pay now. Once he does that, so then the inside my app, it will update and will say, I still owe you 50 Rand. But what happened inside the system is if we go to our home and we go to projects, then you will see that we've now received 200 Rand. So if I now go and say who has paid, you will now see next to my learner's name that there's 200 Rand being receipted next to my learner. So this is a totally seamless, automated receipting process that through the cashless system and the app with the actual financial system. So if we really want to go in, you can go to the actual receipt, and there you will see the last receipt, receipt number 1593. There you can see it's receipt for me. This is my family code, blah, blah. It went for this, for the KZN project for 200 Rand. And then if I go back to my app, just finalizing the whole payment, I can then see there's the 50 Rand. I can actually pay it in the moment I've finished paying the project. Pay now. I've got money and it's done. The moment I'm doing that and I go to my home, my projects, and I say who has paid, then you will see we are removing the highlighting from the line. So now Kari Vermaak has paid for the project. Nobody touched a cent. This is a total cashless solution. So the money that you are receiving, I'm just going to quickly go into that a little bit. We are basically creating an additional cash book onto your general ledger chart of accounts, and all these transactions are posting against that cash book. And once a week on a Monday, we basically transfer the money to your school's ABSA or FNB account. So that transaction will happen as a bank transfer. You don't have to actually capture receipts. The receipting is done totally automated in the back end, as I just quickly explained. So that is project and the dashboard, who has paid, who hasn't paid. Quickly want to show you our step-by-step year-end process. So if you were to go to a system, just quickly go into this one, and you want to finalize your year end, when you go to the year end and you say you want to do it there, you can see all the list of year ends that you have done with the system. You can even, and it's the same with the functionality that Rian referred to, where you can upload documentation. So here you can say, show me the actual financial statement. There you can see the financial statements uploaded inside the system. If you want to create a new year end, we've got a 5-step process, and this is unique. So you can literally, after the first week of January, once you've done your books and reconciled the previous year's stuff, then you can say move to step 1, meaning block postings. So if you haven't done a year end, you just block postings. The step 2 is to handle your trial balance to the auditors. The step 3 is to allow for the creation of the audit journals, like in March or April when you receive that back. And then step 5 is to actually proceed. But we ensure that your net profit is showing on the screen that is linked back to the actual financial statements, ensuring that everything is in balance. Right, that is our step-by-step year-end process. Let's quickly go to receive money via the app. I've just showed you that, so that's done. And now I quickly want to show you the auto-completeness or accuracy reconciliation. Right, guys, so what I need to do here, we've got the ability to reconcile an income statement account. Now, the normal accounting systems of the world only reconcile the balance sheet portion. So if you are talking about a report and you're talking about the trial balance, at a date you will have you will see a control account, let's say a debtors control account, and that is reconcilable with like an age analysis. But what we've done is we've gone to the next level in these reporting, and we've said, listen, debtors. We can analyze, for example, a ledger account. So let's say, excuse the Afrikaans here, but let's say we want to reconcile the school fee income for the year 2019, for example. This will then analyze per learner per month how much was invoiced to each of these learners with a total amount at the bottom. So if you generate this report, there you can see a list of all the learners, and obviously it facilitates. There you can see, let's look at this learner that only started billing in April, for example. It means this learner only entered in April. So this is such valuable information for an auditor, reconciling it back to something like, your admission register, making sure you haven't missed a learner. There's a learner that was billed annually. He took the annual option, so we bill him in January, etc., etc. And when we look at this total of 11.5 million rand sitting there, then when we reconcile that back to our trial balance for 2018, we will see exactly the same amount sitting on the trial balance at exactly the same date. So, in essence, it's a system that has been built in schools, for schools, with schools. There's the 11,025,498. Unfortunately, I just closed that other report, but it's exactly the same figure. So we can reconcile your income statement total to a list per learner per month. And the reason why how we can do that is that we do not allow journals on these, what we call billing or system accounts in a nutshell. So yeah, Keith, I think with that, I want to quickly stop my screen. I only had a couple of minutes to show you the 3-4 big, key things, but for us, it's about saving time, being auditable, being reliable. Of course, in a school, you're working with millions of rands, but there's only 2 people sitting in the office that need to manage 1,500 or 1,800 learners' finances. And that is why when we get to schools, when you ask them, how do you do a project, they've got this little 5-liter ice cream tubs, all the money in, pay all the expenses, there's 10 rand left, okay, and they do a receipt profit with fundraising project. Nobody knew. And with our system, you can actually, do a lot of that other stuff. We've got, because we've developed it in a school, for a school, we've got stuff like register class receipt. So if you, for example, have these money bags that's still going around in the school, we've got an ability to say, I want to issue a receipt for a register class, all the list of learners' names are listed. You just click the 3 or 4 that has paid, and there's options to print separate receipts for each learner automatically. But it's been a 16, 17-year journey for me, and I'm just glad I met up with clever guys like Rian and those that we could actually just put our efforts together. And I think that's what we want to offer schools, is to say we want to be a solution where you enter a learner once and you can handle him from a curriculum perspective, from a financial perspective, from an administration and a communication perspective, and just be a one-stop shop to just make it easier. Because that's at the end of the day what we're all about, is making it easier for schools.
Thank you, Don. You touched on something very, very important. You said you enter a learner once. So if I understand you correctly, once that learner is loaded, it gets pulled through into a curriculum, pulled through into finance. There's no files that have to be passed on, none of that.
It's yeah, like Robin was saying, it depends on how the school works. So when you enter a learner, you can say this learner, is he billable, yes or no. So it might be that, you know, we do have schools where a grade triple R, for example, is not billable because it's outsourced, but they want to, you know, capture the learners on the system. So then you will just say this learner is not billable, but there's a list of reconciliations that says these are the list of learners. But I don't have time to show you, but we've got a lot of tasks in the system that you can actually, in the morning when you log in. Now I need to show this to you quickly for 1 second.
Don, the time's yours. Show us.
If you open your screen in the morning and you log in, you will see a list of tasks. Okay, let me go to just a real school that's got real tasks, not demonstration tasks. So when you go in the morning, this is your login screen. It will actually take you directly to a screen that shows you something like this. And there's the finance tasks. You have 13 days left to submit the November debit order. You've not issued receipts for a debit order file. There are payment arrangements which were not met. Click to follow up. 3 projects past the expected end date. Bank statements with unreconciled transactions. I mean, our bank reconciliation process is so nice and easy. It just makes a lot of sense. And like this 8,030 Rand 50 in undeposited, that is money that you receipted over the counter that you still need to take to the bank. And so yeah, I think at the end of the day, if you haven't billed a learner, it will just show you there's one learner which billing needs to be reviewed. That is when an administration person, you know, enters a learner, but you as finance need to sign it off. So we've come a long way. It's not our ideas; it's the needs in schools that has been addressed, and we've constantly been adapting the system with parameterization. So we don't change the system, we give you the option. Do you want this report in portrait or landscape? It's up to you. Because one school wants it at portrait, the other one in landscape. But yeah, it's been an interesting journey. So thanks very much, Keith.
Don, I've got one question for you though, before you go. A lot of schools use Pastel and they've used it for a long, long time. Why would they consider switching to our product?
The other day I had a discussion with a lady. She worked on Pastel for 25 years. And that is when I finished my article. So that's the last time I worked on Pastel. But, and the feedback that she gave me, actually, you know, that for me was, you know, what I want to answer your question with is, if somebody can just experience what we're offering, you know, because I think people don't want to change. And I don't want to change people. I don't want to force people, because we did have in the past SGBs, which forced their financial people to go onto our product. You know, then they will make it difficult and say, no, but in Pastel I could do this. And, you know, if you don't want to drive BMW, you know, you will find a reason for that. But for me, what that lady said is, if she just realized this many years ago, she would have saved herself such a lot of time, because at the end of the day, it's the same thing. It's debits and credits on the trial balance that we need budget actual variance reporting, which I haven't even showed you, that I should show you. But I mean, real-time budget actual variance reporting. There's a new project that we are also working with a couple of schools here in Gauteng now, where we are taking financial reporting to the next level in terms of strategic financial management, where you can say high schools in Gauteng, what is the average salaries ratio to total school fees? And we've developed a standard chart of accounts for that. So that's a project that's in process at the moment, but it's exciting thing because we believe if it's things like the small things like that that can really change education in this country, is helping schools to provide proper financial management information. You can do your books on Excel if you really want to. I won't recommend it, but of course you can just delete the receipt and then it's gone. So for me, coming from the auditing industry, we know that you can't delete a transaction. If you want to fix a transaction, you have to do a journal. The journal is there. It's recorded against your name. So, transparency is for us very important. And I think people should just give it a chance changing, because if they can just experience, just one last thing from my side, we've got a school, they've got 800 parents on a debit order. And with the integrations that we've got with both Net, Cash and Stratford, literally, there's one line on the bank statement in the beginning of the month. It says 2.3 million rand. They click on one line. It does an API call to them, get the list of all the successful and unsuccessful transactions, post the receipts, cancel the receipts for the ones that rejected, and it's done. It's one little click to do 2.3 million rand and 800 receipts. Where within a pastel world, what you need to do is you need to have like a recurring batch sitting there, and then, ooh, this guy actually left the school last month and I have to manually go and delete that. Or this one was added, so I have to manually go and add that. All of that stuff is handled automatically, not because we are smart, because we don't actually sell software to schools. We sell a way of thinking. And our way of thinking is integrated solutions. That is what we've got, and that is what we're selling. It's a way of thinking about capturing a learner once and everything is handled. Look, we do make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, but we learn from them with schools. And so that today, when a new school might sign up from this webinar, they might think we are great, but we did mistakes in the past and we fixed them. And that is why these new schools that's coming on, is getting the benefit of that. So that's a very long story from finances. But I really just want a trial balance to end at a zero and making your books balanced. That's what we want to do. Thanks very much for the opportunity.
Fantastic, Don. Your passion for D6 Plus is palpable. So thank you so much for that. We should give you more time in future as well. Thank you, Don. Hope you have a fantastic day.
Thank you.
Okay. One more time, if you have any questions, please post them. Don is around, and we've got a couple of others to answer those questions for you. Send us an email at sales@d6.co.za. We've discussed a couple of times. It's come up when Robin was chatting with us, and Don actually showed us how it works to make a payment cashlessly. And if it's integrated with a finance system, you don't even have to do anything. It does everything for you automatically. And to talk to us a bit more about our cashless offerings is Marisa. And you're going to tell us a bit more about what cashless is about. Welcome.
Yes, thank you so much, Keith. It's lovely to be here. So I thank you, Don, for going through the payments with finance and stuff. So I would like to just tell you where Stickit comes in. So we are a third party payment provider, and we are registered with PASA. This is the regulatory body, the Payment Association of South Africa. So we are partnered with you guys, and we facilitate the payments and take care of the money part. Today, I would like to talk about physical payments on campus. So we've touched a little bit on the project payments and fee payments, but what I would like to discuss now is stuff like tuck shops. So now you've got a tuck shop on campus, and most tuck shops run on cash, which is, with COVID now, not very good to handle, and kids lose their money. Cash is just not a safe way to transact. So we've done,
So we've read in the news and seen in the news a couple of times the schools being robbed. So it is important to move cash off the campus. So I would stick and do this.
So what we would do is we would give you access to our POS app. So I'm going to quickly share my screen with you. Before I do that, I just want to show you my cool bracelet. So this is, where's my screen? So this is the Stick It Pay bracelet, and this has a chip inside, which I will show you now how it works. So I'm quickly just going to share my screen with you guys. So how this works is you can take any device. It can be a cell phone, it can be a tablet, and then all it needs to have is at least Android 8 and an app store and, well, Bluetooth or NFC. So it looks like this. It looks like a plain calculator, but it's so much more. When I take my bracelet and I tap it onto the device, you'll see now, this phone has NFC built into it. So I just tapped it. It says I have 10 Rand to spend. I am allergic to nuts. And when I accept, it says there that I have a 10 Rand balance. So now you can say 5 Rand for sweets and 2 Rand for, I know this isn't the real prices. I'm not.
Yeah, I was going to ask you where this tuck shop is.
I'm not under an illusion. I know it's more expensive than that, but this is just for, showing you. So when I say charge, it makes a little noise and then it says completed and then you're done. This is the quickest way to do transactions. So you'll see here that it has a network status that is green. So you need to have either data or Wi-Fi. Your battery needs to be charged and then a reader connection. My phone has NFC built into it. NFC is the scanner that reads the chip in this bracelet. If your phone does not have NFC built into it, then you will need a Bluetooth device that we can supply to you. How you check if your phone has NFC is you just go up there and then you can just basically go and see, well, how I do it is I usually just go to settings, search, NFC, and then you'll see there, allow data exchange when the phone touches another device. So this is how you see if your device has NFC on it. So what I want to just quickly touch on is you do not need another device or anything. You can literally use a phone that's lying around on campus. So if you have a phone, check if it has NFC, and then it's as easy as downloading the Stick It POS app, and then you can perform transactions.
And this can be used in a clothing play. Sorry, I don't know if I'm English, but the only word I can think of is klerebank. It can be used for something like that as well. Any point of sale at school?
Any point of sale. So we are at tuck shops, clothing stores. We're even at some coffee shops that are near campus or on campus. It can facilitate payments anywhere if you have the app. Now, the nice thing is when you do have finance, the D6 finance module, then we can set this app up to then post to the correct project code or account, and then it's already automated. It's reconciled itself.
Yeah, and what we saw with Dawn's presentation is it does it automatically. There's no manual capturing of the information if you use it cashlessly, or if you use cashless, which is very, very important because other cashless solutions don't offer that. Ours is done automatically.
Yes, exactly. So this is basically just an extension of the payments. You can use this for physical events. You can use it for your tuck shop, clothing store, and it doesn't necessarily have to be part of the school. It can be an external vendor. So if the tuck shop does not belong to the school, then we can set it up for the external vendor and they can still use the same app to do the payments. So now what I want to show you is just from a parent perspective. If you go into D6 Connect, now Donna showed you where you can find the payments, but I quickly just want to show you, if you go here and you go to payments, then you'll see here that it says link tuckshop tags. If you go on here, then you'll see that the tag is linked. If you click on it, you can see the payment history. So I can go and see what my child has spent at the tuck shop with his band. I can also then edit the details, set a daily limit, because just to clarify something, you do not need to load money onto the physical tag. The tag is like a bank card. So the tag has access to all the money in the wallet unless you set a daily limit. So you do not want your child to spend all your money, so you will set a daily limit. And then if the child loses their tag, you can go and disable it or enable it when you find it again. The other thing that I just quickly also want to touch on is transferring funds. So we have a new functionality where you can transfer money from your wallet to someone else's wallet. So if you are at the school and you are a teacher and you want to stick your friend for a coffee or something, then you can just transfer money to their wallet from yours. And all you need is their cell phone number.
Sure.
Yeah.
I have to say, Marisa, I'm quite bummed by seeing all this functionality. I mean, Robin has spoiled the fact that I can't bunk and get away anymore. And I used to sell my bus card for tuck shop money, and now with this, I can't do that anymore either.
Yeah, sorry, hey. Your parents will know how much you spent, and they can say if you're not allowed to have sugar. It's obviously up to the person who does the sales to listen to that. But yeah, you can't get away with anything anymore. What I want to show, just the last thing that I want to show is we have a new functionality where we do an online shop. And some of you might know Stanley Stationers because he is big in KwaZulu-Natal. And we have actually partnered up with him to make some online shops for schools in the area. And what we've done is he's actually gone and put together the grade 4s, all the stuff that they need. So he's put together a list for grade 4, grade 5, and all the stuff that they need. So you can literally just go in there, select how many you want of each, and then it uses the exact same wallet that you just saw in D6. So we are at a couple of schools now, and because the parents are already getting used to paying through D6, they can now buy their stationery through Stanley Stationers if the school signs up with him.
That is amazing. That makes life so much simpler.
Yeah,
Thank you,
so
Marisa.
we're basically doing everything for you now.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way, and it's done automatically and without any duplication of effort or human mistakes being made along the way. So it is really a good solution. Thank you, Marisa. I appreciate your time and joining us today to tell our schools about Stick It Pay. And next up, I would like to ask Werner to join us to talk a little bit about D6 rewards. Hello, Werner. Werner, can you hear me? Oh, it seems like Werner can't hear us. Werner? I can't hear Werner. Having a little bit of technical issues. There's always one in the mix. There's always something that goes wrong. It's the wonders of technology. Werner, we can try again. Okay, well, while we sort out the technical issues in the background, I can start to talk about D6 rewards a little bit. As I said in the beginning, really worked into our DNA is making schools more effective. And I was a commerce student at university, so I'm about making businesses profitable. And on my first day in this business, our CEO came to me and said, "Wouldn't it be great if we give everything away for free?" And obviously my brain fell backwards. I didn't realize, how can you give things away for free? And that's really almost what D6 Rewards wants to do. What we do with D6 Rewards is there's various levels of engagement with a product. So, for example, the more of our modules that you activate and the more active you use it, and the more users you have on it, you get a bigger percentage share. And you heard that right. What that means is we actually share rewards back to the school as cash. Werner, can you hear us now? Rather, we can't hear you. Werner, try it without the earphones. I know sometimes Showtime doesn't work so well with earphones, so let's try it with the computer's mic. No, Werner, we still can't hear you. Okay, sorry about that, folks. It often happens. Barry's, you're welcome to turn off the camera. I'll tell the people a little bit more about D6 Rewards. As I said, the way it works is we share back rewards to the schools. So it really is about getting the schools involved to use the product to maximum effect. And when we do so, we want to give money back to the school. We have a few schools that make enough money off of D6 Rewards to pay for part of or the entire system. So the CEO was right. We can give this away for free. And the way we do it primarily, you would have seen if you followed the screen shares of Don and Marisa when they activated our system. There's advertising, there's banner advertising. You saw the big SPAR logo. They're one of our big national sponsors. We use that money to subsidize it back to the schools to make our systems more affordable. So these advertisers spend to get that exposure, and then through our D6 Rewards program, we give it back to the schools. We've so far, and Werner, hopefully I'm right, but I think we've so far given back about 800,000 Rand, if I'm not mistaken, to schools in the past year or so. So it really is a system that works. So for us, it's a win-win-win situation. Our advertisers win because they can reach out to the communities. They can advertise in their communities because they can select specific schools. The school wins because they get money back. And obviously we win as well. We get you to use a system that's more effective, as well as helping communities, especially during this time after COVID. So that's essentially D6 Rewards in a nutshell. My apologies that Werner ran into the gremlin that will always appear in every webinar. But that brings us almost to the close. There's just one more thing to do. And while we're getting prepared on this side to announce our big draw winner, I want to ask you one last time to post your questions into the question box so that our pros can answer you, or send us an email at sales@d6.co.za, and we'll be happy to talk to you from there. As I said, the next thing on our list is to draw a lucky draw winner, and Robin's going to join me again with a name. First off, Robin, my name's in, right?
Oh, definitely, Keith.
And just tell me a little bit about what is the big prize.
So we've been very grateful in the fact that we've been sponsored with two really great prizes. The first prize is a 2-night stay for 2 adults at Umtunzi Boutique Hotel down on the South Coast. It's dinner. It's not dinner, it's bed and breakfast. I've personally stayed there, and it is absolutely beautiful. It's got breathtaking views and is right on the beach.
So. Okay, hold on. I'm single, so if I win the prize, will you arrange the other adult?
No, I'll leave that to you.
Oh, damn. Okay, fine. That is a great prize. What's the other one?
The second prize is being sponsored by Stanley Stationers. And with Poppy, what they've done is they've actually sponsored a parrot shredder for us.
For a second there, when you said parrot, I saw a little parrot fighting. I get it. It's a brand name.
Yeah.
Oh, that is really, really, really cool. So how are we going to go about deciding who's winning what?
Okay, so you had to stay online for the whole webinar in order to qualify. And I basically just did a bit of a random draw, and we've got 2 names. So
do I need to do a drum roll? Let's start with the bird, the shredder thing.
The parrot.
Yes.
The shredder.
I hope they're not watching, because then I'm probably going to get, brand defamation or something. Okay, cool. The parrot shredder. Parrot, great products. So, okay, so who is the lucky winner of a shredder?
Okay, the winner of the shredder is Manoj Maipath from Deccan Road Primary.
Well done, Manoj, and I hope you enjoy your shredder. I have to say, though, if you use the D6 Plus system, it does look like you're going to get rid of a lot of paper on campus. But hey, there's nothing wrong with just shredding everything. Cool. And then the big prize. I just want to say well done, Keith Smith, in winning the big prize for a what? Okay.
Yes, definitely.
Not me. Okay. Who is winning that stay for 2 on the KwaZulu-Natal South Coast? And I'm incredibly envious of that. So please, let's get the name so that my envy can stop. Who's the winner?
Okay, so the winner of the stay on the South Coast, valued at 1,950 Rand, is Kate Johnson.
Well done, Kate.
Yes.
Hopefully you have a second adult to take along. And that brings us to the close of today's session. Thank you so much for sticking with us through an hour and 15 minutes. I'll be honest with you, I was coming close to the end, thinking to myself, wow, we pulled it off without any gremlins, but then we snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. But thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate your time. I hope you've learned a lot about the D6 system. I hope you've been somewhat entertained along the way. And please remember, you still have an opportunity to post some questions or send us an email at sales@d6.co.za. Also, send us some details at sales@d6.co.za, and we'll be able to send one of our lovely ladies that you saw here today, either Robin or Renelle, to visit your school and tell you a bit more about the system. But that's it from me, from the beautiful cricket ground here at Durban. What a treat for a Cape Townian. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a fantastic day and stay safe. Bye-bye.